Right, so I've tried twice to do this already today, so I'm going to try again and just keep trying until it actually works, because why not? It is hot. Again, Twinings does not sponsor this video. I just really do recommend the tea. This one is strawberry cucumber with green tea and aloe vera, and it is apparently supposed to help with a glow. I just like the taste of it, and there's less caffeine in green tea than there is in black tea. Not that I'm particularly sensitive to it, I'm just aware that it's not always great for you. I'm going to read two short poems that were on they had the most views out of a series of poems that I posted quite close to each other. And I was writing them out and wondering, I wonder why these ones, they're quite short, not very in depth, and I was wondering why people would be more drawn to them. And then when I'd finished drawing, I drew this lovely cup of tea, and underneath it says they want the tea. So I'm going to read these, and one of them is 17, and I'll start with that one. So, when I was 17, I was wild. Yes, I was a child. I threw myself into the wilds. When I was 17, I was wild in the wilderness. That poem is it's a very short and simplified reflection of how I feel my youth was. I was undiagnosed neurodiverse, but by the age of 15 I had what you call a CPN, or a community psychiatric nurse, who would visit me. Hi Steve. Who would visit me at school, and the difference there, I think, is what may have caused the exaggeration in my life milestones. I did do typical teenage things, but maybe not in a typical teenage way. Maybe we'll get into it at a different time. The next one I'm going to read again is, even though it's only the first time for this video, is A Retort. So, A retort. If I was fishing for likes, I'd have stopped by now. I don't need your validation to be valid. Oh, you assumed? Yikes. This is a self-driven vow. I see your skin is turning pallid. But I don't put heads on spikes. I'm only a bit of a cow. You're the one acting like a small kid. That one is again, it's based in something that it's based on something that someone said to me, but as I said in the poem itself, it's not. I don't put heads on spikes, so don't give all the information. I'll just let the person who needs to know that poem, or read that poem, read it and react to it, and they're the only person who needs to know the details. So like I said at the beginning, I've tried to do this twice already. I'm hearing that Instagram is being a bit buggy at the moment. I wonder what they're up to. And I'm back to drinking tea, so maybe having everything being the same, it might work. Or maybe I'm cursed to only read in darkness, which would make sense. I could be one of those cursed living dead girls. I just need a crypt, which could happen in time. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. You don't, unfortunately. And from someone that comes from a family of fortune tellers, that's some spicy secrets for you. Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned, actually, that you can read a fortune, but it's only ever one path on a multi-path path. Oh dear. You wouldn't think that I write poetry, the way that I talk sometimes. So yes, I will read the both of them again. "17. When I was 17, I was wild. Yes, I was a child. I threw myself into the wilds. When I was 17, I was wild in the wilderness." And then I'm going to read a retort. "If I was fishing for likes, I'd have stopped by now. I don't need your validation to be valid." "Oh, you assumed. Yikes. Look, I see your skin is turning pallid. But I don't put heads on spikes. I'm not that much of a cow. You're the one acting like a small kid." I felt like sticking my tongue out at the end there. The actor in me. That's funny. Do you say actor or actress? Which one is right now? Because I used to call myself an actress, and then I was told one day that all actors are actors, so we just all call ourselves actors. And I go between them both. I suppose it depends. Not that I am anything but I suppose the term is cis woman. But I don't have a problem with people identifying as whatever the hell they want. Like I said, I play pretend for fun. Not that I think everybody's playing pretend. Don't come for me. I'm just saying I'm quite accepting of all different types of people, whether that be people who go to church every Sunday, or people who don't and do things that other people might not appreciate. I think variety is the spice of life. I think everybody should be, as long as they're not hurting anybody else, should just be allowed to be themselves, even if it hurts your feelings a little bit. Maybe, like, the rule is don't be a dick. And if you condense down most religions, am I going to get in trouble? I don't know. If you condense down most religions, you get the themes of don't be a dick and try and forgive people. Because holding on to grudges poisons you internally, and living negatively, doing negative things, like everything in life, it's found in science. So for every action there is a opposite an equal reaction. That's it, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so that stands in life as well. So if you're running around being a dick, you're going to get people running around being a dick in your vicinity, and then you're going to see other people who aren't running around being a dick getting good things, and it's just going to make you feel shitter. Learning to take responsibility for your own actions, that's an important one. I think I'm reflecting like this because those poems are from my youth, and if I was to speak to myself at 17 as myself at 35, I don't think I'd tell myself not to do many things. I think I'd just tell myself to weigh up the risks a little bit harder and to understand that I wasn't. I used to think that I was a lot stronger, a lot scarier than I actually am. Was as a 17-year-old that was a size 0 and a good meal could snap me. So yeah, learn to boundaries. So I could have done with learning some boundaries for myself, and accepting, I could have learned with accepting that advice from others wasn't always control, because it did send me down into some quite dark places. I've known some quite dark people. I've survived some very dark things, and that's why my work is quite dark. That's why I present quite dark. At the end of the day, trauma is something that we all wear, but we can choose how we wear it, whether we let it be heavy or whether we figure out how to weave it into something a little bit lighter. So I'm pretty sure I've read the poems twice. I'm pretty sure I've read the poems twice. I'm pretty sure that nobody wants my advice. But I guess as I get further into these videos, other things will slip out. I have a tendency to overshare. Again, neurology. I will probably talk about the causes that I have sitting in my highlights. Things like the treatment of neurodiverse, and that includes all neurodiversities, such as psychological disorders and things like that, and genetic things. See, this is what I'm saying. There was a time when we were all grouped together and either culled, experimented on, or forgotten about, locked up forever and ever and ever. And it only that that's really good. I'm glad you're enjoying it somewhere. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, you enjoy your job, so that was a win-win. Yeah, so the treatment of neurodiverse people wasn't always great. I think it's a great opportunity for documentary, things like that. It could be very interesting. There's also a lot of which I think have already been explored a little bit, the likes of behavioural schools and things like that. Lots of avenues of exposure that need to be exposed, but definitely not in any kind of brief manner, because there's a lot that goes into it. There was a lot of death, a lot, to the point where they don't actually know real numbers, which is quite a horrifying thought as somebody who would have been, that would have happened. If I just missed that cutoff. So in terms of like decades and stuff. But yeah, there's stories that could be told there, which would be interesting, harrowing, but also educational, in the whole don't forget what we did so that we don't do it again. And then the other cause, which is the now treatment and support of neurodiverse people, including all neurodiversities, and psychological support for people, all people, not just neurodiverse people, but more leaning towards talking about how you can tailor care, how it would work, what would work best, and the ideas that I have behind that. Although that is something that would take a movement, or as I said when I mentioned it before, it would take a village, which is the point. It would be a lot easier if community care was a real kind of, because I've been a domiciliary care worker, and I have been a assisted living care worker, and they're both different. One, you deal with more elderly people and death, excuse me, and the other one it was more youthful people who had different kinds of neurodiversities that meant that they couldn't blend properly. That they couldn't blend properly with society. Yes, okay. But that meant that they couldn't blend properly with society. But yeah, we're I've read the poems twice, and I'll probably wrap up in a minute. And thank you for joining, Steve and the other fella. And you can watch the full video. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll work this time. And we'll see you on the other side. I don't know. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.